Welcome to a new video in my home automation series. And a couple of videos ago when I talked about Zigbee2MQTT, I said that probably at some point I'm going to do some management flow to my Zigbee2MQTT network, mostly in order to report to me if I have any devices that are running low on battery, or probably if any devices are not reporting for any reason. And I think I'm done with the first version of this monitoring flow, which turned out to be rather simple. And this is what I'm going to share with you. And probably you can see in the overlay image that I've managed to do three simple things. One is that every day the system is going to check if I have any devices that are running low on battery. And it's just going to send me a Telegram message. It's basically just going to send me a summary Telegram message showing all the devices that are running low. And I thought the other thing that I can check, because each device is sending link quality, I can check that as well if there is anything which is really, really low. Maybe because like one of the router has been moved or it's no longer working. So then one of the battery operated devices might be struggling to communicate with the coordinator. So that's going to be checking for the link quality. And of course, it will be telling me if I have any Zigbee devices that are not reporting at all. And the way I managed to do this is that every single message that I receive from any Zigbee device gets saved, and you can see the flow for that here. So it gets saved in an InfluxDB database, and then at every day I picked 7 p.m. the time for me that works, for these sort of notifications and do my sort of maintenance. Is that it looks for the last 24 hours and basically just assumes that if I have any devices, even if it's like a device which doesn't have anything to trigger on, let's say if there is a window sensor and I haven't opened that window in the day, at least it's going to send me a status. It's going to send me at least one status message a day. So I should be able to find that. And this flow has been running for a couple of days. It's definitely not giving me false alarms on things are offline. So I'm pretty sure that even the quietest device will send one message a day at least. And of course, because everything gets saved in the InfluxDB database, maybe you can use it for other reporting purposes as well. So let me talk about the saving part of it. So as you can see, I created a MQTT in node on the Zigbee2MQTT the hash. So it basically just receives all the Zigbee2MQTT messages. And then out of these, I want to filter out anything which is on the bridge. So if you remember, let me just bring up the MQTT Explorer. So maybe we need to wait a couple of seconds until it collects the data, but all the devices would have a topic, and there is also going to be a bridge topic, which is, for the whole infrastructure. So the first output goes out if it's a bridge topic, and within the bridge topic, I'm again checking for something. So I'm checking for state. So the state could be either online or offline. And if it changes, because it only sends the message if that changes, then I can send myself some message that the Zigbee2MQTT network is either online or offline. And I'm using my built-in messaging solution in order to log that and also track the state of that system. So I'm just calling my Zigbee2MQTT as system 47. So that is going to store messages if the status changes. I mean, I don't know any reason why the state would change. Maybe if the coordinator is broken and Zigbee2MQTT can no longer talk to it, then I guess the whole network would go offline or something like that. And also if the topic is not a bridge, but it is a logging topic. So based on what is the logging level set on your Zigbee2MQTT network, which you can see here. Let me just quickly show you. So it is under settings, and I have to think about, so it is somewhere here. Front end, maybe it's an advanced. Yeah, it's the log output. So the logging level, you can have it to debug, info, warn, or error. So I just set it to warn, so I don't want to see all the low-level errors. And then you can also, so if the message comes in, I'm also filtering if I'm receiving an error or a warning or anything else. And based on that, I can save those messages in my system maintenance framework as well. So I just pass that message and it gets saved in a database as well. That's also in InfluxDB, and also have a simple, a separate Grafana dashboard for all the system logs. And I don't think we are going to see a lot here, but maybe I can just show you. I don't think I've covered this in a separate video, but maybe I did. But let's say if I select for the last 7 days, and if I change the system to, oops, Zigbee2MQTT. Oh yeah, okay, so you can see some of these messages here. So I was trying to update my IKEA switch, do an OTA, but for some reason it wasn't working, so I was getting these messages. Regardless, so this is how the whole logging works. So everything is kept, everything is stored here. So, and if it's not any of these bridge messages, then it's most probably a message from one of the devices. And usually there is also an availability subtopic, which I'm basically just ignoring, because if I get a message in the first place, then the device is available. So I'm just ignoring anything which is the availability. So I just use the otherwise. And the message that comes from each device is basically just a list of attributes in most cases. So I can just very simply convert it to an InfluxDB record. So I pick the measurement Zigbee, the tag, there is a single tag, which is the device. So that's the name of the device, which comes from the topic. And then the fields is just going to be the the attributes that you get in the message from that device. And I have noticed that there is, well, at least I've seen that for one case, one of the attribute can be an object as well, which obviously InfluxDB would not understand. So I'm just deleting that from the data, and then I pass it on to a InfluxDB node, which is this log bucket. So I set it up to use my log database, and for my log database, I have configured the retention policy to 90 days. So you can see it here, the log database is a 90 days retention policy. So definitely remember to use a bucket which has a retention policy, because as you can see, we are basically just dumping all our Zigbee messages to InfluxDB. So it's definitely going to be a load. So just make sure that Influx deletes after a certain period of time. So this is all the logging, and then everything goes into Influx. And then you can actually also look at how this is all going to look like. So it's in log, it's in Zigbee, and if I select the device, you can see, all the devices here. And if I, let's say, do the plug, and I don't know, maybe I can, okay, so current, energy, power, link quality, let's see, voltage. Okay, it doesn't change an awful lot. Yeah, I think nothing is plugged into this plug at the moment. It's just basically there to provide a router for my Zigbee network. So yeah, the information is here. And I mean, as I said, I have this running for just a few days, so I don't have an awful lot of data here just yet. Okay, so this is dumping all the data into the InfluxDB database. So now we can do some query, and that's basically done, once a day. First of all, what we need is, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but there is a topic, which is the Zigbee2MQTT, or whatever your base topic is, and /bridge/devices, and that's where the network is going to send you all the devices that are on the network. And I'm just basically storing it into a value, because I'm just going to use it later on. So I'm just putting it into a flow variable. And if you look at the flow variable, you can see how your, the Zigbee network is going to look like. So I have 11 devices. That's with a coordinator included. So the first device is the coordinator, and then you have the other devices. You can see the friendly name here. And Zigbee2MQTT kindly sends us an attribute which says a power source. And then if it says battery, well, the device is battery operated. So what I do here for the low battery notification is that it starts 7 p.m. and I send out a query which well, it uses the log database and it filters for the last 24 hours. It filters on the measurement Zigbee, and it also filters on the field battery. You can just ignore it. I was also using this battery low, but every device sends a battery attribute as well. And I only care about the last, so the last entry for the last 24 hours. And that is going to send a table stream. So if I enable this, again, I think it's important that you always test these functions, because you know, you are querying for multiple tags, which means that every single result is going, well, this is a table stream, and that table stream is going to have a lot of tables. Each is going to have one single entry, because we use the last statement. So that means that the table stream has an array of 6 items, which are the individual tables, and in each of them there is only one object. So I created a simple function node, which it has a constant in the beginning. So this is the level that you can set for the low battery voltage, or if you can just increase that to 100 if you want to test it, and it's going to just report you all the devices. So I said I want notification for any devices where the battery is less than 15%, and it just basically goes through every single device in the device list, and it's going to check which device is battery powered. Sorry. It goes through every single record here, which we received in the array, and then it's going to check the device, the device list that we have received from the MQTT node, and then checks whether the power source is battery, and then it checks whether the value is less than the low power, and it just adds a text. And then, you know, once that is done, it just sends the message out. And here for Telegram, I'm using my own Telegram subscription service. So if you just want to send a simple Telegram message, you can just change this device ID, you know, to chat ID, and then you can put your own chat ID here, and that would be a valid Telegram message. So you can just send it off to a Telegram sender node. And here I'm doing exactly the same, but my Telegram sender node is in another flow, so I'm just using a link in and link out. So that would take care of the battery. What happens with the link quality? I do another query, which is going to be very similar to the one before. Actually, let me delete this. I don't need this anymore. So that again looks for the last 24 hours, filters on the measurement Zigbee, and then it filters on the field link quality. And again, we only care about the last. Let me clean up this query as well. Okay, good. It's so interesting that when I do screen recording, for some reason, Node becomes so slow. So it's definitely not the server, but I think the whole Chrome just becomes really slow. So we are starting similar to the previous one. We have a threshold here for the low link quality. Maybe I should pick this as a higher value. I think 15 is really, really low. So maybe this could be like 30. I'm not really sure. Maybe start with a higher value, and if you're getting persistent high values without any noticeable issue with the network, you can just pick a lower value. And this flow is actually going to check for the low the link quality, and also check for the missing device. So the signal quality is very similar to the previous logic. It looks through all the data that we received here, and then obviously it's not going to check for the battery, because we want low signal quality or link quality for any device. And again, it checks the underscore value with the constant up there. And then if that's the case, then it puts it into the text, which would be a Telegram message. So yeah, again, same thing with the Telegram message here. And then it is also going to iterate through all the devices that are in the device list. Of course, it's going to ignore the coordinator, and then it's just going to look for all the devices, and then it will check if that device had any message in the InfluxDB, because again, link quality is something, well, as far as I noticed, that every single device sends, or I'm guessing it's the Zigbee network which keeps track of the link quality. or probably the coordinator, based on how strong the message has been received or the strength of the signal. So that is included, which means that if we don't have any link quality message, that means that we don't have any message from the device at all. So again, if we are trying to look for that device name up here in the list. So for example, if we look for knob, well, the device knob is here, so we have a message from knob, which means that it's not missing. But if it's missing, then again it gets added to the list, and then again it gets sent out in a Telegram message. And I think I'm just going to leave that screen here again, but you get these messages. And I mean, I don't have an example of a missing device because all my devices are working fine, but you will just get a second Telegram message, which is going to be fairly similar to the one above. So offline Zigbee devices, and then in each line you're going to receive the name of the Zigbee device. Of course, there's not going to be any percentage because, well, it's either there or not. And to be honest, that's pretty much it. So yeah, probably the saving the data is a little bit more complicated, but actually looking for selecting the data and doing the logic how you select the device is actually really, really simple. I just realized that I modified this and I didn't click on done. So I think that would be pretty much all about this monitoring solution, or Zigbee monitoring version 1. And as usual, you can find the link to this flow in the video description. And of course, you would need to modify these function nodes and how you are going to handle that. So maybe you can just send it off to Telegram, or you can send it off to email, whatever you like. I mean, you already find that the text here, so maybe you just don't need the rest of it, and you can just send it off to email. And then for everything else, which is here, as I said, if you just change the service ID or the service tag to a chat ID and you put the chat ID, you can just send it off to Telegram. I hope you found this video useful, but that will be all for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.